Welcome, everybody, to Adult Sex Education. I'm your host, Tiffany Ramm, also known as TiffTALKTV. And this is a special edition because not only are we live, but it's Valentine's Day. And what better to talk about than lube? So before we get started, I'm going to let everybody get in the live, get situated, let myself get situated so we can all have a good time, okay? So we can all learn together and we all get the information that we need. That's what today is about. In just a moment, I'll introduce you to the platform, tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to get right into today's lesson. What I will say is, as we get into this, I always like to give the disclaimer that I'm going to get fully through the lesson first, and then I'll address all your questions if I haven't already covered it in the lesson. Now, don't get just discouraged by that. Please blow up the live chat. Blow it up, friends. Blow it up, okay? So if you have questions, feel free to blow up the live chat because I will address them. So I'm going to get through the whole lesson. Feel free to make comments, ask questions. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to loop back around at the end. And if I haven't answered your question, I will go back and answer your question. And or maybe you missed it, so I'll take a moment to re-explain. So I'm going to share the live link with some people that have asked me to share it with them. Then I'll reintroduce and we will get started. Again, welcome if this is your first time. I appreciate you. If you're returning, thank you also. So we'll get started in just one moment. I see you in there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like I said, I'm just going to share this live stream link with a few people that requested that I share it. So they can join. And if, like I said, you don't have to wait. You can start blowing up your little comments and questions now if you're really curious, you have questions right off the top. But I'll introduce the show and we will get started here very, very shortly. Again, happy Valentine's Day. I was a little cute for y'all. If you can't see, it's little roses on my shirt. So that's my happy Valentine's Day kind of, whatever tidbit for everybody. I love sharing the link with people who are like, yeah, I want to learn. It's a fun topic. I will say today's topic is a topic that's highly misunderstood, which is why I'm really excited to be doing a class about it, a teaching on it. And start a conversation about it because it's just very misunderstood. And this platform is really dedicated to, helping people have healthy, safe, enjoyable sexual relationships. And so not the whole channel, but this particular segment, that's what adult sex education is all about. That's why I'm launching this particular segment so that we can learn together and have better sexual relationships in general. So I'm really happy to be doing this segment because, like I said, it is highly misunderstood. So we're going to get right into it in just a second. Like I said, I'm sending this link to people who have asked for it, people I think that need it. Please, also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the page and share this link with people so they can join live or watch later. So many people have expressed that they've shared this with their friends or even their children, which I encourage you to do. Again, this is not necessarily children's, friendly content. I'm not marketing it that way because it's, appropriate for people who are of consenting age to have sex. And encouraging, again, people to have healthy, safe, consensual sex. So just a few more shares and we will get started. I'm so excited that you're all here with me on Valentine's Day. I don't think there could be a more important day to actually talk about this topic because lube is such an important topic to having pleasurable, healthy, safe sex. So I'm just, like I said, I'm partial to this topic. I'm very excited to be having it. So to be talking about it, be doing a segment about it. I think I got everybody covered. Okay. So again, welcome. My name is Tiffany Ramm. This is Adult Sex Education. I'm your host and welcome to TiffTALKTV as a platform. TiffTALKTV as a platform is dedicated to your physical, mental, and sexual health. This particular segment, Adult Sex Education, is dedicated to helping us learn how to have safe, healthy, and enjoyable sexual lives. And today's topic's no different. Today, we're talking all about lube, okay? When we should use it, why we should use it, why most people are not using it, the misconceptions, and what types of lube to use when. So I'm really excited, and I just realized I was supposed to print a cheat sheet before we got started. I totally forgot to print it, but thankfully I know most of all this content by heart, and it's still written down in my little handy dandy notebook. So we're just gonna get started. What you can look forward to from me is that the previous segment in regards to proper condom use, misconceptions of condoms, that lesson will also be put in an abbreviated short version, 5 to 10 minutes here in the short future. So, if you don't want to watch that whole hour class, but I do recommend that you go ahead and watch that segment or watch the abbreviated segment. And now I just realized also I might have missed some toys, but I don't know if I necessarily need to use the toys to have the proper example. So anywho, with that being said, we're going to jump into lube. There are actually 4 types of lube. The 5th category is actually hybrid, okay? So there's actually 4 types of lube. This is not including flavored or scented lubes, okay? Because that's just a variation of every type of lube. I'll explain that a little better in just a moment. But there's 4 basic kinds of lube, and then the 5th is hybrid. What you really need to know is I'm going to tell you, the kind of the tips and tricks of each type of lube, why one might benefit the other. Ultimately, it is your personal choice. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you which lube to use, but I will give you kind of a hint in the right direction of what's the overall best choice and why. But again, this is your personal, choice to make, all that good stuff. So I'm lining up some of the lubes I have here. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to have a lube giveaway. And yes, what you can expect from here, TiffTALKTV's Adult Sex Education, is any segment that I do, I will have real examples to demonstrate for you on the show, okay? Not that I use every single toy or item or practice every one of the things that I will cover in these segments, but typically I do like to practice what I preach when I do give personal testimonies. I would never just make up a testimony for the sake of a video. So just know, lube, I live by. Lube, I use 90% of every sexual interaction that I have, and here's why. Wetter really is better. One of the misconceptions about lube is that it means your partner is not properly aroused. These are some of the examples of lube and or oils that people can use. You can see TiffTALK's got a lot of lube, okay? This lube right here is one I use regularly. This one I also use regularly. This one is also personal preference, personal favorite. These 3 lubes right here. Actually, this one's very new, just started using this one. But this is my go-to. I live with this lube, and this is, we'll explain what that one's for in a second. So there's a lot of lube out here. There's a lot of lube, everybody, okay? There's a lot of lube out here, okay? And so although the motto is wetter is better, that is standard sex education, wetter is better for 2 very important reasons. Well, really to increase enjoyable friction, okay? No one wants to have sex with a dry vagina, a dry anus, a dry toy, a dry anything, okay? So wetter is better. But the misconception is that, if your partner is dry or not lubricating, that they are not aroused. And here's where the education comes in. That's just not how biology works for the female body, okay? There's 2 main reasons the female body actually is quote unquote wet or lubricated. One is arousal, yup. And 2 is actually for self-evacuation, okay? Again, self-evacuation or detoxing. The female body does actually cleanse itself. The vaginal area, the cervix, the uterus, like when you have your period, all that kind of stuff. The body self-evacuates, and not just during the menstrual cycle, but, all the time, kind of cleansing itself of different bacteria and other things like that. And no, it's not icky. It's not discharge. Typical vaginal, self-evacuation is clear and odorless, but still wet. So with that being said, just understand that 1, wetness doesn't necessarily indicate arousal, because again, the woman could have just been self-evacuating, cleansing herself naturally as she should. But also understand there's about 1,000 reasons why a woman may not be vaginally wet with arousal. Diet, the psychosomatic part of it. There might be some, mental health stuff going on, depression, mood, stuff like that. She may be aroused, but may not be like intimately enjoying you, or maybe just not able to connect for other mental health reasons. So the main reason is, nutrition, hydration, proper, eating proper, really like fruits and vegetables. There's a lot of naturopath remedies for natural wetness, increasing natural wetness in women. And so just because someone's not wet or dry does not mean they're not aroused. There's many reasons in regards to diet, nutrition, and other medical conditions that would prevent a woman from being wet, particularly during premenopause and menopausal times in a woman's life. So with that being said, lube, 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 lube. Wetter is better in increasing positive, pleasurable friction. Yes, you want friction during sex, but you want enjoyable friction. So that's where lube comes in. So the misconception there, again, does not mean that your partner is not aroused. For especially, I know younger gentlemen and women tend to struggle with this mentally, like, oh my gosh, why am I not wet? Or, oh my gosh, why isn't she getting wet? She doesn't want me, whatever. Like, relax. Everybody take a deep breath. 1, hydrate. 2, balance out your diet, okay? And a feminine, the vaginal region does have a specific healthy pH that it does maintain. And so we'll talk about that in a moment at the end, okay? But yes, there's many reasons why a woman may not be wet. And so just getting used to using a lubricant is really healthy to help make sure we maintain a healthy, pleasurable sex life. Now, the 4 types of lube: water-based, silicone-based, oil-based, and then natural. This natural category is a little new and it's a little questionable. And not because I'm not a naturalist, because if you follow me on Instagram or anywhere else, I'm actually very natural based. But this natural category is not always necessarily what you think it is. And so we'll talk about that. And water-based lubricants are actually typically pretty natural and absorbed by the body. So we'll talk about that. Why you might actually want to if you're a natural person, you may want to tend towards water-based, and for many other reasons, versus natural, and talk about that. There is a 5th type of lube or category. It's really hybrid. The hybrid category is maybe combining a variable of these different lubes together for your personal pleasure or preference. What I will not be doing tonight is telling you which brand to choose. If you looked, this one's KY, this one, and many of them are wet brand. This one is Astroglide. This is one's whatever the heck this is. So there's like a lot of different brands. I'm not here to gear you towards a specific brand. This is not some kind of promotional video for a specific brand. This is educational. So the brand you'll kind of figure out for yourself. Price ranges for lubricants are anywhere from like $3 to $30. And that's maybe if they're like scented or warming or whatever, all those kind of cool like specialty lubes. Today we're going to talk specifically about the types of lubes. And if you want to get into the different variations for your pleasure, that's your choice. So let's start with water-based lube. How will you know if it's water-based? Most all water-based lubes are going to say water-based somewhere on the container, like this one. Pretty obvious, right? Water-based. Can you see me? Water-based. All right. Okay. And other ones will say it. Yeah, this one says it on the package. Do you see it up there? Water-based lubricant. Okay. It's usually pretty obvious. Water-based are usually the most obviously labeled one in all the lubes. In my personal opinion, this one is also water-based, but I just don't see it on there. I think it was on the box before. Before I even started using it. So whatever, that's a personal favorite. I'll explain why in a second. So what are the benefits of water-based lubricants? Well, one really good benefit is that it's water-based, which means it's absorbed by the female vagina. So if you're using any kind of vaginal play with a toy, female to female, non-gender conforming to female, male to female play with a vagina, that water-based lubricants are actually absorbed by the vagina and very natural, and also do not cause infection. Actually can help prevent infection because of the positive friction and the reduction of negative friction during sex. So yes, not using lubricant and having sex while not lubricated, maybe dry sex, can actually cause infection and burns and small micro tears. And you should use lubricant, okay? It can hurt. And ladies, if you're wondering, besides maybe just a larger partner or you having rough sex, why you might be experiencing vaginal discomfort after sex is probably because you didn't use enough lubricant. You now have like micro tears or irritation from like microburns in your vagina. So just know lube is good for that reason. Water-based lubricant is actually absorbed by the vagina, which is helpful. Water-based lubricants also for that reason are less likely to leave a residue or stain your sheets. It's less likely to use, it really doesn't leave a residue. Like you wipe it on your skin, wait a few seconds, it's dry. It's like it was never there. You can like rub it in and it's gone. It won't leave stains. So that's another benefit. Also, water-based lubricants are the most condom friendly. They're less likely to cause a condom to break or break down the latex, and they are toy friendly. Most sex toys are made from silicone, and the water-based lubricant does not break down or cause abrasions in your toys. So the water-based lubricant is considered the most versatile lubricant of all the lubricant types. It's the most encouraged lubricant to use. Really, the only downside to water-based lube is because it's more natural, it does tend to run out over time. So you may have to reapply depending on if you're having sex with multiple partners or if you're having a longer play session with yourself or with another partner. So really the only downside to water-based lubricants is that you may need to reapply it. But otherwise, water-based lubricant is the number one most recommended lubricant to use. They are condom friendly. They are absorbed by the vagina. They leave less residue or stain. And so for that reason, I really encourage people to use water-based lubricant. When in doubt, if you're just getting started, you're not sure, use water-based lubricant. My personal preference is I like to use water-based lubricants or liquid versus jellies. Jellies do get a little more tacky and tend to leave more residue. They're a little more sticky. But if you're someone likes it a little nasty, then jelly is probably for you. Jelly, it kind of leaves like sounds like those sounds. If you're into that, that's what jelly will create. So if that's what you like and you're into, then you might tend towards the jelly. But I personally prefer very natural feeling, almost not there, no residue, no mess, okay, lubricant. And so I have always encouraged water-based lubricant, and I keep water-based lubricant everywhere in my life, okay? Water-based, water-based, okay? So that brings us to the second type of lubricant, which is silicone-based. Now, there are some downsides to silicone-based, and there's actually more downsides than upsides. So I'm going to share the upsides first, just so you know the difference between water-based and silicone. And Tiffany, why would there even be a difference? One, you can use silicone-based lube with condoms, but it's not recommended. The research is kind of all over the place in regards to if it causes condoms to break or not. And so you don't want to use a silicone-based. I just discourage using silicone-based lubricant with latex condoms. If you're using a natural condom, the research is a little less there. But in general, I just don't recommend using silicone-based lube with condom play. So if you're not using condoms, silicone-based lube can be for you. Now, the other side of things is the reason why people love silicone-based lube is it can last forever. You typically only have to apply it once and boom, baby, it's doing the deed, okay? Silicone-based lube kind of lasts forever. And so if you're having multiple partner play without condoms, that might be what's for you. Or if you're a person who tends to have really, really long sessions and you don't want to stop to reapply lube, that could be the benefit of silicone lube for you. Now, what I will say is please do not use silicone-based lube with silicone-based toys. Well, really any sex toys. Most sex toys are made out of some type of plastic or silicone, and the silicone-based lube actually causes small microabrasions and will break down your toys over time and make them actually break down faster. So you don't want to do that. You want your toys that you spend good money for to last as long as possible. So please don't use silicone-based lube on any sex toys of any kind. But yeah, so the benefits of the silicone, again, is that it lasts really long. A downside to look out for is that it can cause, stains, and typically does leave a residue on the skin. So you will have to, wash that off and stuff when you're done. But typically the reason people like to use silicone-based lube is because it does last a really long time. It's not necessarily natural feeling, but it definitely feels good. I recommend just doing kind of like a test in the store if they'll let you, because most lubes you can't return once you purchase them. But you know, most of them are pretty affordable. I do recommend trying them in a sex store if it's your first time, because the salespeople, typically you cannot open them on your own. But if you bring it to the counter, the salespeople typically will let you do a test. So they'll let you open it up, just put a little bit on your hand. And I say, like, do the rub test. A water-based lube is just kind of literally going to rub in, and you're like, oh, it's like lotion, like you're going to rub it in and it's going to be gone, evaporated, literally. Silicone-based lube, you're going to put it on and you're going to rub, and it's going to be there, okay? And so if you want that feel, you're going to rub it and feel like, do I think I want that on my body parts or my toys or, you know, my partner? Rub it out, okay? So that's what the basis of silicone lube is. Again, the research is all across the board in regards to, you know, if it really is latex condom friendly or not. So I really kind of just discourage using lube of any kind except water-based with condoms. That brings us to the third type of lube, which is oil. Listen, oil is shown in research to cause infection. And I'm talking about like bacterial vaginitis, urinary tract infections, not sexually transmitted infections, but other vaginal infections. And so here's the deal. I really only recommend that you use oil for massage purposes only and arousal. Also, oil-based lubes or just massage oils also break down the latex in condoms and will cause them to break. So not only is oil attached to, you know, research showing it causes infection, different kinds of vaginal infections, again, not sexually transmitted infections, but actual vaginal infections, and also will cause condoms to break. So if you're a condom user, do not use oil and condoms. Like maybe you do a massage and then you wipe your hands quick and you grab the water-based lube and do the condom thing, okay? And that's what I do. Like I love to use my massage oils. Obviously, I own them. These are lavender because that's soothing and calming. You know what I mean? So I actually obviously own massage oils, but I do not use massage oils for sexual play. Okay. Because, well, condom user. So I use massage oils to massage and then water-based lube for sex. But if you're someone who does not use condoms and you don't want to do the whole switchity-swatchity and all of that in your bedroom and your play life, go ahead and use this for sex. But just know, women with vaginas, that this tends to have a history of causing infections. And so if you're a woman who tends to have yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, like this is not for you, okay? So water-based or silicone-based is best for you. Oh, the other disclaimer about silicone, before I forget, is that it's hyperallergenic. That's another reason people tend to use silicone-based lube is because it is hyperallergenic. And so if you really are a super sensitive person and, you know, you are allergic to like lots and lots of things, silicone-based lube is a good way for you. But yeah, so we talked about water-based, silicone, and oil. That brings us then to natural. And I believe I'm going to bring the camera down so I can see where the natural one is, because I think that's my water-based anal lube. Naturals. Y'all see it? Natural. And then I think organics right here. So we're going to talk about this organic one for a second. All right. You see, right? So it says organic aloe based. Okay. This is a natural organic aloe based lube. What you need to know, they're real sticky. Okay. Aloe based is real sticky. I don't know if you've ever touched real aloe off the plant. Like I have my little succulent over here. I got 2 succulents now. Okay. I'm a succulent mommy. Anyways, but natural aloe, real pure aloe is actually very tacky. Okay. So what you're going to need to know about using natural lubes is that most of them are pretty sticky. And you're going to have to reapply them often. Also is that not all natural lubricants are actually condom friendly. And so you're going to want to look very carefully at the package to see if it says condom friendly or not. And then also beware that just because it says it's natural does not mean it's vegan for sure, and does not mean it's hypoallergenic. And so you're going to want to really look closely at the ingredients. In regards to guidance on natural lubricants, the less ingredients, the better. And I'm going to go over a list of ingredients you don't want to see on your lubricant list that can either cause an infection or cause condoms to break. We're going to go over that list in a moment. But just know, natural, although it sounds very trendy, it's very on trend right now. Everybody wants to be natural. Everybody wants to be organic. Everybody wants to be healthy. Just know, in all honesty, not all of these naturally branded products are very natural, actually. And they're not necessarily condom friendly. So be very careful and look at these packagings based on your own personal needs. But when in doubt, actually, water-based lubes are actually pretty natural, and again, absorbed by the vagina. So that's just a tidbit to keep in mind. So we've gone over all 4 types: water-based, silicone-based, oil-based, natural. Okay, there you go. So those are the 4 types. And the 5th one I said is what? Hybrid, some kind of combination of this. Maybe like, you have your 2 favorite brands, you mix them together. That's a hybrid. Or maybe you see a brand that's like water-based lube with, warming sensational oil. That's a hybrid. Okay. So remember the benefits of both or the disadvantages of both, and like look at the packaging, read it, and figure out what works for you. Again, these range from anywhere from $3 to like $30. My other thing you need to know about lubes, y'all, they last a while. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you might be like hesitant, like, I don't want to buy that $12 bottle of lube or whatever. Most bottles of lube last a long time. This bottle right here lasts me 3 to 6 months, and I have pretty regular sex, okay? And I use it every time. So just know they last a long time. You get a good bang for your buck, okay? For the purposes of this demonstration, I bought like 4 of these bottles just so I had a good representation. But like, this collection now will last me all year, probably too. I replace my lube every year, no matter what, even if it's not gone. They all have expiration dates on them. This one says August 2021. Just like condoms, your lube does have expiration dates. This one says September 24th. So again, like anything else, check your expiration dates. But yeah, usually I'm gonna keep my lube for a year just because you don't know how long it was on the shelf for either. So if for some reason your lube does not have an expiration date, I don't know why it wouldn't, 2/25. These are all probably just right on the shelf. January 2023, that kind of thing. Check your expiration dates. Make sure you're not using expired lube. But also, I don't keep it more than a year in case you can't see the expiration date or whatever. You shouldn't be using old lube, period. I don't like to use old anything. So those are the 5 types of lube. I'm going to look over my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything for you guys. I'm pretty sure I said everything I needed to say. Water-based, like I said, is absorbed by the vagina, doesn't leave residue or stain. Also, it's the most condom friendly, so that's why I recommend it. Oh yeah, I said I was going to talk about pH. So just remember that the female vagina actually, usually a healthy vagina maintains a 3.5 to 4.5 pH. So if you get really scientific, you could go get pH strips from like, the pharmacy or whatever, and test your lube, the acidity level. You're going to want to use a lube that tests between 3.5 and 4.5. So it stays at the same pH level as your vagina, less likely to cause infection. A little science for you guys. So again, a healthy vagina is just 3.5 to 4.5 pH. And again, the rest of your body is a different pH, okay? But your vagina, that's what she usually maintains as a healthy vagina. And so you want to add or introduce a lubricant that's between that level. So if you want to get real scientific, like I said, you can take your pH strips to your lube and be like, oh, that's the one, that's it right there. What else to keep in mind? So ingredients you do not want in your lube are glycerin. Glycerin is like real oil, like what you put in your hand sanitizer. You do not want glycerin in any of your products. You also do not want petroleum. So a lot of people are like, ooh, petroleum jelly. No, petroleum jelly will cause condoms to break. So you do not want petroleum jelly if you're using condoms. It will cause the condom to break. I know that was really like a big thing back in the day. Like, hey, why petroleum jelly? Like, I mean, they still sell it. You can use it. But if you're a condom user, that's not recommended. The other one, and I'm going to put this not in the comments below because it will mess up my chat, but in the short version of this video, I'll type the ingredients on a slide and pop them up for you. So just know it's called non-oxidized 9, you don't want that in there either, non-oxidant 9, or chloroxidine gluconate. Those are all ingredients that are preservatives or like some kind of like, almost like a silicone, but not really. And the propylene glycol. Some of you know these ingredients because they're not recommended in other things we're used to having them in. So basically parabens, preservatives. And so if you see something that says paraben free or glycerin free, you want that. You want a paraben free, glycerin free lubricant. Because otherwise, yeah, they will definitely cause your condoms to break and or increase the likelihood of infection. So now that was your lesson. That's the lesson. It was like what? Less than 30 minutes. I broke down all the lubes. Again, do not use silicone-based lubes with toys. Water-based lube is good for toys. Silicone-based lube is maybe for people who have like multiple partners but aren't using condoms. But yeah, overall, I recommend water-based. So now it's time for question and answer. I'm going to get here in the chat and see what I see, what y'all are asking, if I haven't already answered it. So someone made a comment about, hi, I hope it's okay if I say your name because it's in the chat. People can see it. Hey, Twan, I see you. Thanks for the support. Mark, yes, I do like Astroglide. Weirdly enough, the title kind of says it all. I'm not huge into butt play. I'm kind of working my way into it. For the purpose of some of these videos, I'm going to try a few things. Okie dokie. One of these videos are going to be about anal beads and butt plugs. And when I tell you, I'm not usually someone who does all that, but for the purpose of education, I'm going to try a few things. Astroglide is my preference for butt play. But that's not all the brands for. It is an all-purpose lubricant brand, not just for butt play, but that's my preference for butt play related stuff and toys that go there too. So Astroglide is one of my preference brands for that. But again, this is not a promo for Astroglide. Again, KY liquid is one of my go-to favorites. It does not leave a residue. It feels natural. It makes my woo-woo happy. It makes my cookie happy. So yeah, but also many of these other brands are the wet brands. The wet brand has a very wide variety. It has most of these natural, organic, silicone and water-based. So I do, have a wide variety, and the wet brand has a huge variety. So does KY, and they're great over-the-counter products that are very, price friendly. For most people, especially when they're first starting, until you start maybe getting into specialty lubes and you decide what works best for you. Yeah, so that's the thing. Mark was stating that like he hates KY. Most people don't like KY jelly. Okay, I do not like KY jelly. It leaves a residue. It's sticky. It's goopy. Excuse me. It's a hot mess. KY liquid though is very similar to, if you like the Astroglide, it's very similar to that. It's actually even lighter. That makes sense. Astroglide's a little thicker. Thick but light, because again, it doesn't leave a residue. But that's why I like Astroglide for butt play, because it's a little thicker, if you know what I mean. Whereas, yeah, the KY liquid, specifically liquid, not jelly, is very light. Feels very natural. It literally evaporates. So again, you all figure out your own brand and style. Again, jelly versus liquid. I do not like jellies in anything. I like the liquid in every version of lubricant. Jelly's not for me. Okay. But it's all personal preference. Please dabble in the lubricants and see what works for you. But again, I'm going to highly recommend water-based lubricants for any latex condom use. Yes. So again, I believe most flavored most flavored lubes come in water-based or silicone-based more often than not. It's not a lot of the natural or oils that are flavored. Like that would be scary. Actually, a flavored oil kind of sounds gross. But yeah, most of the lubes that are flavored are water-based or silicone. So you're just going to want to make sure again that where are you putting that silicone lube if you're using it. Let's see. I have used some flavors. It's really just a personal preference. I've had my best experience with flavored lubes with what has a line called desserts. lube. So I think it's by Wet. Yeah. Yeah. It's their dessert. So like this is their natural line. They have a desserts line of their flavored lube. Everywhere from strawberry to my favorite is cupcake frosting. That's my go-to. Cupcake frosting. Who doesn't want a cupcake frosting tasted? Lady part, man part, anyways, so so that's a personal preference, but yeah, it's all up to you. Every brand's different, just try and see what works for you. But yeah, so flavored brands are out there, but again, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it as foreplay up to condom use, you're going to want to use a water-based flavored lube. If you're, not using condoms, you can use, any kind of flavored lube if you want. Oh, that's okay. Again, this particular section is really to educate, because a lot of people aren't using lube. So if you can't add to the conversation, that's okay. But if you are watching, if you would do me a favor and put your favorite brand up here of lube, what lube you use, maybe where you get it from, how long you've been using lube, what you use it for. Because again, I use lube for everything. I like to use it for like during hand jobs, for, foreplay. I like to use it really to like kind of jazz up giving blowjobs sometimes, not all the time, because I do have a pretty good self-lubricating mouth as well. But when you don't, sometimes I have dry mouth and you're just like, where's the lube, friends? And that's another tip. But ladies and gentlemen and all non-gender conforming people, please also use lubricant during foreplay, particularly during, giving head as well. Your mouth is not always lubricating. You can have dry mouth. Like, who said your mouth is aroused, right? So add that lubricant, get that party started, do what you need to do. And so that's where lube really jazzes life up. I think that's where a lot of partners really get like engaged with the lube, because they're like, oh. And when people ask me for tips about, what are some of my blowjob secrets? No, I have a lot of blowjob secrets, but but one of them is lubricant. Like, your mouth is not always to the level of the, wetness that would make a blowjob enjoyable. So please use lubricant during hand jobs and during blowjobs. Or as, the professional term would be fellatio, or oral sex. So if you are in here and you use lubricant, if you could share what kind of lubricant you use, where do you get it from? Do you use it with a single partner, multiple partners? Let's see, multiple partner situations. Again, I roll with water-based lube. So single partner or multiple partner play, I'm just all about water-based lube. I've never had a problem with okay. I'm a more experienced partner, okay? So keep this in mind. If you're a little less experienced, this might be uncomfortable for you. Maybe you're not as comfortable communicating with your partner. But again, this is something you need to get used to, is communicating with your partner during sex. Communicate with your partner not only before, but during sex, right? It's how we prevent injuries too, okay, people? People are like, Tiffany, how do you get from one position to another? Carefully, okay? But communicate, all right? So for me, I know when it's getting a little dry, or we've just been going a while and we're not done yet, I'm going to reach over to that night table, or sometimes I just put the top on and put it right next to me on the bed. Why? Water-based lube evaporates. It doesn't leave residue. So even if it a little leaks out onto the bed, by the time we're done, it's probably dry. I can wipe my whole hand on my sheets if I want when I'm done, and it will just dry right up. Okay. So I don't really don't do that regularly and then not wash your sheets. Ew. But I'm a comfortable partner where I feel very comfortable grabbing that lube in the middle of a session and being like, hold on, babe. Pop the top, squish it in my hand, put it on. Or make it freaky deaky. Pop that top and squeeze a few drops on, watch it go drip, drip, drip. Whatever your style is, okay? But if you need to apply in the middle of a session, apply in the middle of a session. It's okay. Sorry, I'm getting blown up during this segment. I wish everybody who's blowing me up would blow me up in the chat instead of trying to text me during the session. Like, you guys have so much going on right now. So if you have any other questions or comments, please, please, please let me know. I'm going to give it a few more minutes in the chat here because I don't see any coming through. Otherwise, I would address them. So yeah, I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes, 2-3 more minutes. Actually, I'm going to do another product mention then while I wait for you to ask questions if you have any questions or comments. Also, if you're a little afraid to put it here in the live chat, then feel free to DM me on Instagram or Twitter. Those are the 2 places I interact the most, and I answer all my DMs in both platforms. So TiffTALKTV everywhere, TiffTALKTV. TiffTALKTV everywhere. Feel free to DM me if you have any specific questions that maybe you're too afraid to ask on the live, follow-up questions. And what do you want me to talk about next? Like I said, this is a place for all of us to learn. It's not just about me. It's really about you guys. So what do you want to learn next? DM me. I save them. I might not do it immediately the next episode, but I will acknowledge you, say, hey, thank you so much. That will be scheduled soon. And I will make your recommendations and your questions next episodes. So again, I am TiffTalkTV on all platforms. And you can DM me your questions. What do you want to hear about? What do you have questions about? What do you want to know more about? Or Mythbusters. Tiff, is this true? Or my friend said this, or whatever the heck. Let me know. We will myth bust because I'm going to do a few of those videos too. So if you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, since we're talking about healthy, pleasurable sexual lives, one of my favorite products, absolutely, in life is Sweet Cookie Wash. Also, one of my favorite things to do for self-care is to vaginal steam. Gentlemen, it is not too late. You can order a late gift for your lady friend, or ladies for your lady friends, or non-gender conforming people for your friends, okay? This is for anyone who has a vagina, and you can gift it to anybody who has a vagina, okay? Sweet Cookie Wash is a brand dedicated, that's all natural, Black-owned brand dedicated to feminine hygiene. Okay, this Sweet Cookie Wash is the best to keep the pH healthy and safe downstairs. This is the original, not scented, but any scents that are used are completely natural. So there's a mint and a lavender. The original is my go-to favorite. Sometimes I do switch it up and go to lavender. Mint a little too fresh for me. That tingly sensation is a little much for my downstairs, but some people love that mint. But yes, so Sweet Cookie Wash as a feminine wash is go-to, best brand. I've been using it for 3 years. They also have vaginal herbs for V-steaming. I V-steam twice a month. And you can follow me. Sometimes I go live while I V-steam. There's a link underneath this live with a promo code. You get a discount if you use my link and my code to buy Sweet Cookie Wash. So ladies, if you want to keep it moist, clean, fresh, Sweet Cookie Wash. All right. Any other questions or comments about lube? Otherwise, we're wrapping up for this sweet Valentine's lesson on lube. Why should we use it? When and with what? Again, basically, when in doubt, water-based lube all the time. Vaginal play, anal play, toys, multiple partners, solo play, whatever it is. But if you're curious about those other lubes, go back, rewatch, and learn about the other lubes. I am so glad you were here. Please do not forget to subscribe below. Click subscribe, turn on those notifications, and then share with your friends. I appreciate you. TiffTalk out.